vulnerable populations.
Point
like
of
the
order,
elderly.
Mr. Speaker. Point of order.
Please, what is your point of order, Right Honorable Wase?
Thank you, sir. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, my name is Ahmed Idris. I represent Wase Federal Constituency of Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, I'm coming under Order 9, sub 6. It says, it shall be out of order to attempt to consider any specific question upon which the House may have considered. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, if you recall, the Speaker in chair, even though it's his office, have intervened on this very particular matter, has taken the decision. He has put in a committee. I think we are going to water down the attempt and the effort of the Speaker of what he's doing to resolve this matter by again bringing a motion on the floor of the House. It will only be right, my brother, to step down this motion to allow the Speaker's intervention take precedence. Otherwise, tomorrow's intervention of the Speaker may be taken with seriousness if we in the House ourselves would not come back and then water down what the effort is doing. It is under this jurisdiction that I'm calling on my colleague and respect House to please step down this motion and allow the Speaker effort to continue. Thank you very much.
You have a right of reply. You heard what Right Honorable Wase pointed out. What Right Honorable Wase is saying is that there is already an existing engagement on this same issue, and though we have not seen your prayers, if your prayer is saying another thing should be set up or it should be referred to any other committee, it will whittle down the strength of the engagement of Mr. Speaker, which is ongoing. So on the basis of that, do you wish to withdraw your motion on that point of order? Because that point of order is carried, is sustained.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. Mr. Speaker, I quite agree with the former Deputy Speaker, our former boss, that this matter was handled by the leadership, led by the Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, I would like to also point out that when this matter was handled by the leadership, as at that time, the strike was still a pending matter. But as we speak, as at 11 p.m. last night, this strike has already commenced. So, and the prayer that I have is quite different from the engagement by the leadership of the House. The prayer is that the relevant ministry, which is the Ministry of Health, and that of labor and productivity, should dialogue with them, should dialogue with resident doctors to ensure that the strike is suspended while the engagement in the House is on. That is the prayer, which is very straightforward.
You can sit down, off your mic. Leader, you have something to say about that? Before we put the question, because it appears to me
Thank you.
the mover of the motion want to complete his motion and then want us to put the question to it. But let's hear the majority leader of the House.
Mr. Speaker, Julius Ihonvere, Owan Federal Constituency, Edo State. As the Right Honorable was explained, the Speaker had a meeting with the NARD and some stakeholders on this issue and pleaded with the union to hold on the strike and give the House 2 weeks to resolve the matter. And the 2 weeks were to include his visit with the Mr. President to bring him up to date on the relevant issues. He also set up an ad hoc committee to be chaired, or which is being chaired by my humble self, to hold dialogues with the critical stakeholders. I want to inform that Mr. Speaker has since met with Mr. President, and there is significant progress in terms of addressing the needs of the doctors that are now on strike. Secondly, we have scheduled a meeting tomorrow with all the stakeholders, including members of the NARD. So discussions are on. Dr. Sununu is here. He's been in touch with the NARD president, and they are going to be at this meeting tomorrow. along with other stakeholders, including the ministry, the accountant general, budget and planning, and even the office of the SGF. So I think that in reality, the honorable member should give us time to do the job without adding extra impingements on what we are doing.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, distinguished colleagues who have addressed this matter. I want to appreciate the mover of the motion, though you have not completed, because of the point of order. It shows that we are sensitive to the needs of Nigerians. We are not asleep where Nigerians are, panicking on issues bordering on their health. It is the rule of the House that if you have been given the permission by the House to move a motion, it lies on you to rescind, to step down that motion. Nobody can do it for you. You have given your right of reply. I will want to ask you again if you wish to rescind this motion, or we should put the question, honorable colleague.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think based on the explanation done by the leader of the House and also the information given by the former Deputy Speaker, I humbly like to step down the motion. I step down. Thank you.
So motion is hereby stepped down by the leave of the House. But let me say this to the medical officers who are striking. The fact that the highest level of the parliament has started engaging with you shows how important your demands are. It shows how seriously we have taken your issues. I want to urge you to exercise more patience. You've heard the chairman of the ad hoc committee that was set up by Mr. Speaker to look into this, state publicly that we will be engaging with you tomorrow. Kindly oblige the Speaker of the House, who is making efforts to see that the executive arm attends to your reasonable needs. This is my appeal from the House, and I pray that the striking officers from the medical sector will consider this, as we also pledge to make sure that you are not ignored in your quest to have a better working condition in serving our people. Any other matter of urgent public importance? I have Honorable Odwak Afonso Ududwa. Are you here?
Mr. Speaker.
Please.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Odwak Afonso Ududwa is my name. Representing the good people of Ikot Abasi, Nkpateni, and East Nobolo Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to bring a matter of urgent public importance that has to do with the ongoing flood ravaging the two big communities in Benin, namely Ikorobiokoi and Ikokbaden communities. This flood has resulted in the displacement of the indigenes of the community. And so, Mr. Speaker, I appeal that you direct that the relevant rules of the House be stepped down to enable me move this motion. Thank you.
Okay, the first, any seconder for the first leg of the motion? Any seconder? Yes, right at the back there. Yes, go ahead, you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Not you, right at the back. Yes, please. Can somebody lend him your cap? Somebody lend him your cap. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Basi Akbar It's my name. I speak for the people of Calabar Municipality, Erugman Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to support the motion moved by my brother and colleague Woodwork of Akwa Ibom State. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion, any seconder to the second leg of the motion? Yes, right from the front here, yeah?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Kwamoti Bitrus Laori, representing Numan Jamsa, Lamode Federal Constituency. I second the second leg of the motion has so moved. I do second.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may now move your motion and make it brief, straight to the prayers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my colleagues. Mr. Speaker, once again, Udwa Odudo is my name, representing the good people of Ikot Abasi in Baradin and East Noble Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, this motion is about, like I said earlier, the flood incident ravaging two big communities in my federal constituency. The House notes that Section 20 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended requires the Nigerian government to, among other objectives, protect, improve the environment and safeguard the water from invading citizens. The House also
Please, order, quiet.
The House
is so rowdy. Quiet.
The House also
Can you get seated? Honorable members, go to your seat, please. Go to.
Thank you, sir. The House also note that in recent times, flood incidents have been on the increase due to heavy downpour, with coastal areas remaining most vulnerable, as always. Worried about the current sad narrative in Ikot Obiokoi and Ikot Padem communities in Pateni local government area of Akwa Ibom State, where in flood as of Saturday, 23rd day of July 2023 to 24th July 2023, flood has submerged farmlands, houses, and properties with affected indigenous.
Please move to your prayers, huh? We have a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Move to your prayer. It's a
Prayers.
disaster-related motion.
The House resolved to urge the National Emergency Management Agency of Nigeria, NEMA, and Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Services to provide relief materials to indigenous of the above referred communities to cushion in this disaster. The House also directed the Federal Ministry of Environment, Niger Delta Development Commission, Ecological Fund Office, other concerned government agencies to promptly intervene and bring forth lasting solutions to the hazard caused by the flood in Ikot Obiokoi and Ikot Padem communities in Paris local government areas of Akwa Ibom State. Lastly, the House liaised with relevant government agencies to relocate flood victims in these communities to a safe area for now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
Thank you very much. Any seconder to this? The Jafaru.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Jafaru Gamboleko. I speak for and on behalf of the good people of Das Tafa Baleo and Bogoro. I rise this morning to second the motion as heavily moved by my honorable colleague. I so second.
Thank you very much. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We have one more. I'm sorry, all this motion of urgent public importance that you submitted, we may not take all of them today because we have serious engagement. I think we'll take one or two more. But anybody who is coming up, you know what our rule says, and I think you should rely on that. Let's have Honorable Olufemi Bamisile.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, what's the point of order?
My distinguished colleagues, my name is Fayinka Moses Oluwatoyin from Musin 2 Federal Constituency. I am coming before you the order 8, Sect 4, Sub 4, that mandates the House not to entertain more than 2. You have agreed on 2 before, so I want to suggest we address strictly to that 844. I so move.
Honorable colleagues, there is a point of order that we should not take more than 2. Motion of public importance. But I'm also sure that there is an exception to that rule in our books. And it says 8.4 sub 4. By asking that we waive order 8 rule 4, we can take extra 1 in the day. So anybody who is coming up to cite the provision of that particular order, and then we can take 1 extra 1. So who is it that want to move the 3rd motion of public importance? Bamishile, are you here? But Michele, actually, because we withdrew the first motion, the last one becomes the first, and yours will be the second now. So go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Femi Bamishile, a member representing the people of Emure, Bonyi, and Ekiti East in Ekiti State, the Citadel of Understanding. Mr. Speaker, I have a motion of public urgent importance. The urgent need to address hike in fares and disparity in cost of flight tickets of international flights emanating from Nigeria to other West African countries. Mr. Speaker, may I, with your permission, invoke the order Rule 8.4 for me to move this motion of public urgent importance. Thanks, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to the first leg of the motion? Honorable Shetima.
Mr. Speaker, and honorable colleagues, I remain Lawan Shetima Ali, representing Brusari Gaidam in the Sari Federal Constituency, and from Yobe Sesa. I raise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Michele. I so second, sir.
Those in support of this motion, the first leg say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion, any seconder? Let's have Honorable Akume.
Right Honorable Speaker, my name is Honorable Mrs. Regina Akume, representing the wonderful people of Bokotaka constituency, Benue State. I rise to second the motion moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Thank you. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may go ahead to move your motion, but make it very brief. There's an appeal before the House for almost all the urgent public importance to be heard, but we'll try to take as much as possible. The subject matter and then the prayers, please. We don't have time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Again, there's an urgent need to address the hike in fares and dispiriting cost of flight tickets of international flights emanating from Nigeria and other West African countries. International flights? Yes, international flights. Has been rightly said by the Speaker. Let me quickly go into the House resolves, the resolution of the House. There are two of them, Mr. Speaker. One, to set up an ad hoc committee to invite representatives of foreign airlines operating in Nigeria, including Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Aviation, to explain the reasons of hiking flights and dispiriting cost of flight tickets in international flights emanating from Nigeria and other West African countries, and come up with negotiated prices, price regime likely to benefit Nigerians and ameliorate the sufferings of Nigerians. Two, to direct the House Committee on Legislative Compliance to monitor the implementation of this resolution and report back to the House within 4 weeks for further legislative actions. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Any seconder to this motion?
Amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Let's have the man with the red cap behind. Yeah, wearing black, please. No, wearing black. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I am Bello Issa Ambarura, member representing Gwadaba in Lela Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Sokoto State. Mr. Speaker, with regard to the point rightly moved by my friend about the international ticket, about the flight, I suggest this.
Are you seconding or are you leading the debate?
I say amendment.
No, not yet time for amendment.
Okay.
Just second, we can call you up later for amendment.
Okay.
No, go ahead and second, and then we'll call you to do amendment. Don't allow them harass you. Go ahead.
Can the motion ably moved by my colleagues? Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Motion well seconded. Before I put the question, you say you have an amendment? Please go ahead.
Distinguished colleagues, the amendment I have in this motion, ably moved by my friend, regarding the international ticket, I suggest.
Please, can you increase the volume of honorable members so that we can hear them, please, those managing it?
I'm suggesting that this motion should take care of the local ticket. Like what we have now in Nigeria, let's say for Sokoto State. If you buy a ticket today at the cost of 100,000, and tomorrow it will be more than that. So I'm suggesting that this motion should include the issue of local ticket, not only outside the country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
There's an amendment in the House that is being proposed. Any seconder to that amendment? Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Mr. Aliyu Aminu Garu, representing the Bauchi Federal Constituency. I so second the motion for the amendment. Thank you.
Motion for amendment has been moved, and who is seconding it? It's been seconded, right? Any other amendment? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Adeshola Adedayo. I represent the good people of Apapa Federal Constituency in Lagos State. My understanding why those tickets are expensive is that Nigeria is owing those airlines, and that is why they have withdrawn cheap inventories on our routes. I think the amendment should read that we urge those who are supposed to pay them, we are indebted to them, we should honor ourselves and pay those people so that Nigerians can also benefit from cheap inventories. That's my amendment.
Before I ask for seconder of this amendment, I was distracted here. We need to put the question on the first amendment that was seconded. Those in support of it say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. On the second amendment, who is seconding it? Any seconder? Yes, Oja. Down with the blue cap. Blue cap. Yes, you. Honorable Adebayo Balogun, you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I arise to second the amendment made by Dr. Adedayo. I so second.
Please off the mic. Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of the motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We will take another motion of urgent public importance as directed by the Speaker of the House, who put his signature on it, and I wish to invite Honorable Abubakar Suleiman Gumi to suspend our rules for us to go on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Dr. Suleiman Abubakar Gumi, representing the good people of Gumi, Bukuyum Federal Constituency from Zamfara State. Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 8-4, seeking the indulgence of the House to allow me to take this matter of urgent public importance. I wish the House suspends its rules so that I can take this motion, which is the urgent need to establish forward operating bases in Sagom Bello and Gando villages in Gumi and Bukuyum local government areas of Zamfara State, respectively, to enable 21 displaced farming communities return home in time in this rainy season. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Akin Rotimi Jr., MHR, representing the good people of Ekiti North 1 Federal Constituency comprising Ikole and Oye local governments. Point of order, Mr. Speaker, I think it's supposed to first of all move under Order 8, Rule 7 sub 2 to seek the leave of the House to first of all suspend the provisions of Order 8, Rule 4. Thank you very much, Mr.
Your
Speaker.
point of order is sustained. You are in order. The right rule or the order of the House is 8(7), and if possible 7(2), paragraph 2. So that is where it says, notwithstanding the provisions of this standing order, no provision of this standing order shall be suspended except by a vote of 2/3 majority of the members voting who are present. Then if you go to 2, it says, notwithstanding the provisions of 7 above, the House may, on matters of urgent public importance, suspend the rules by a simple majority of the members present. For the purpose of this rule, simple majority shall be determined by the... I don't think we need to get to that. All you have to do is also to rely on the powers of the House to regulate itself that you found in Order 1, Rule 2, to move ahead and say we can take the next one. So let's rely on that. Point of order, well carried.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I come under Order 7, subsect 2, to seek Order 8, Rule 7, subsect 2, to seek the indulgence of the House to suspend its rules so that I may take this matter.
Thank you very much. Any seconder to this? We want to see some of the people who are the first hand on this side. Yeah, honorable member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Afolabi Afuakwe. I rise to second the motion that our rule should be suspended as ably moved by my colleagues. I so second.
Those in support of this motion as moved and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, for allowing me to take this motion. The House recalls that the level of insecurity as a result of banditry in Zamfara State has apparently been in the eye of the storm. Note that the military, through formation of military bases, have succeeded in reducing the attacks on areas within their proximity. However, fringe areas such as Sagom Bello, Gando, and other communities in Gumi and Bukuyum local government areas of Zamfara State have been worst hit in recent times by the activities of these bandits. Aware that the bandits have over a year ago stationed themselves in these fringe areas and heavily armed no longer attack the communities on motorcycles, but on foot without attracting awareness from the security personnel due to the far distance of their bases from the fringe areas. Also aware that the bandits kidnap, rape, and rustle cows during this dastardly act and have succeeded in displacing over 21 villages with more than 18,000 people presently living in as IDPs in communities where there are military presence. And so far, within the last 1 month, we have.
Please go to your prayers.
Just concerned that, observe that the establishment of forward operating bases by the military in Sagom Bello and Gando in Gumi and Bukuyum local government areas of Zamfara State will go a long way in curbing banditry in the fringe areas that many communities, thus ensuring adequate protection of lives and properties, and will enable people to return to their farms. The House resolves to 1. Observe a minute silence for the deceased. Urge the Chief of Defense and Army Staff to urgently set up forward operating bases in Sagom Bello and Gando local government, Gando in Gumi and Bukuyum local government areas of Zamfara State, respectively, with a view to enhancing adequate security of lives and properties in the fringe areas. Number 3, mandate the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, and Social Development agencies to, as a matter of urgency, provide relief materials to the displaced people in the areas. Mandate the Committee on Defense and Army Emergency and Disaster Preparedness and Internally Displaced Persons when constituted to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to this motion? The lady behind. Honorable colleague. Not you, yeah. Go ahead.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, Marie Enenimiete Ebikake, Brass Nembe Federal House of Representatives. I rise to passionately second the motion put forward by my colleague. So I second.
Thank you. Motion moved and seconded. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on NEMA and an ad hoc committee to investigate the cause of the incident will be set up in the coming days. The final Sorry, we are using the wrong motion. This motion is referred to Committee on Defense, Army and Emergency Disaster. One setup, please. The next one is on explosion by Honorable Festus Ayodele. Please rely on the motion that has been moved to suspend our rules and then go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Adefinaye Ayodele Festus. Flag. Ileluji, Okegbo, and Odigbo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I stand on Order 8, Rule 4, for me to be able to present a motion of public importance titled Fuel Tanker Explosion at Ore in Odigbo Local Government Area of Ondo State that claimed over 30 lives. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move a motion that this House should suspend all the relevant rules for me to be able to present this motion. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any seconder to the first leg? The gentleman in suit back behind.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Olamijuwonlo Ayodeji Alao Akala. I represent Nigerians from Ogumosho North, South, Orire Federal Constituency of Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved by my honorable colleague. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion, any seconder? AVM.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, I am Air Vice Marshal Ojuawo, honorable member representing Ekiti South Federal Constituency 1. I rise to support that motion that the House order should be suspended to take the motion of matter of public importance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Those in support of this motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Please move your motion, but make it very brief. 1 minute, 2 minutes.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, once again, my name is Honorable Adefinaye Ayodele Festus, represent the group and industrial people of Ileluji, Okegbo, and Odigbo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion on the fuel tanker explosion at Ore in Odigbo local government area of Ondo State that claim over 30 lives. The House, Mr. Speaker, the House knows the unfortunate loss of 30 lives, including death of pregnant woman, 3 children, and at least 25 other persons.
This is an important motion.
Sunday.
Please, let's listen. This is an important motion. Please, let's listen.
On Sunday, July 23rd, 2023, when a tanker laden with petroleum motor spirit, PMS, lost control at Oretown in Odigbo local government area of Ondo State. The House are aware that apart from the deaths recorded, other people sustained different degrees of injuries, while over 10 vehicles and 15 buildings destroyed. The House worried that the incident hindered normal social economic activities of Oretown. Mr. Speaker, the House disturbed that dangerous and arbitrary parking by truck drivers, thereby limit the free flow of vehicular movement on the highway, have led to loss of many lives on the road. The House also concerned that at the recurrence of this incident across the country, I wonder if the driver of this inflammable content are qualified to drive such cargo and have been trained in immediate safety precaution. Also concerned that the affected person will need support of the government agencies responsible emergency cases. Mr. Speaker, our prayers. The House observed that a minute silence in honor of those that lost their lives in a tragic incident. 2, the House directed the National Emergency Management Agency and the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development to immediately send relief material to affected victims and settle medical bills of those hospitalized. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, the House should set up another committee to investigate the cause of this incident with a view to providing solutions and preventing reoccurrence in other parts of the country, and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. The House mandated the Nigerian Police Force, the Federal Road Safety Corps, to clear the trucks on the highways to forestall future occurrences. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Any seconder to this motion? The gentleman here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Hello, the more Uchenna Clement Machuku is my name. I hereby second the motion, ably moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
This is a straightforward motion. Let me just put the question. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The motion is referred to the ad hoc committee once constituted.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, the first prayer. 1 minute silence for the people that lost their life there.
Thank you very much. One of the prayers is that we'll give 1 minute silence, please. May we rise to honor the dead. May the soul of the departed rest in perfect peace. Honorable members, the business of the day is presentation of 59 bills, and I invite the clerk to read their short titles. Clerk.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Federal Cooperative College Kaduna Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal Cooperative College Oji River Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Broadcasting Practitioners Council of Nigeria Bill 2023, first reading. Epidemiologist General of the Federation of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal University of Dental Technology and Therapy Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Currency Change Procedure Bill 2023, first reading. Nigeria Railway Corporation Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal Polytechnic Zandig Plateau State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal College of Education Technical Ecom Cross River State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Freight Forwarding Bill 2023, first reading. Federal Medical Center Ohafia Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. National Population Commission Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal College of Education Special Patani Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2023, first reading. Federal Polytechnic Akubeni Delta State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. National Rice Development Council Bill 2023, first reading. Police Procurement Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Niger Delta Development Commission Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Corporate Bodies Members Emolument Act Repeal Bill 2023, first reading. Environmental Restoration Agency Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Minerals and Mining Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. National Youth Service Corps Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. National Institute of Vocational and Technical Education Okurikang Okoyon Odupani Cross River State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Weights and Measures Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. African Union Development Agency Bill 2023, first reading. African Union Convention for the Protection and Assistance of Internally Displaced Persons in Nigeria Bill 2023, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2023, first reading. National Commission for Museum and Monuments Repeal and Enactment Bill 2023, first reading. Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Southeast Development Commission Establishment Bill 2023.
Minority Leader, approach the chair.
Chartered Institute of Peace Practitioners Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal Medical Center Takai Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal College of Science and Health Technology Asira Uba Borno State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery Hawul Borno State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Alex Ekweme Federal Teaching Hospital Abakaliki Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal Medical Center Establishment Amagu Iko Ebonyi State Bill 2023, first reading. Southwest Development Commission Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal University of Environmental Science Ohauku Ebonyi State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal Institute of Fisheries Research Tafawa Balewa Bauchi State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. National Institute for Technical and Vocational Education Bogoro Bauchi State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal University of Health Science DAS Bauchi State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Minimum Public-Private Partnership Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Satellite Towns Development Agency Bill 2023, first reading. Federal Medical Center Orile Lagos State Bill 2023, first reading. National Flood Insurance Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Administration of Jury Trials Criminal Justice Bill 2023, first reading. Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Armed Forces Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Civil Aviation Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Nigerian College of Aviation Technology Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Nigeria Airspace Management Agency Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal College of Education Amaibo Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Companies and Allied Matters Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading.
Please come. The first order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Niger Delta Development Commission Act 2000. Standing in the names of Honorable Mutu Nicholas Bomo and 29 other honorable members. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 26 July 2023. And I invite Honorable Mutu to move that the bill be read a second time. Honorable Mutu, please. Please open this microphone so that we don't need to control from here. Okay, there's an amendment. The first order of the day, the commencement of the debate on the general principle of the bill for an act to amend the Niger Delta Development Commission Act 2000, standing in the names of Honorable Chinda, the minority leader, and 29 others. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 26 July 2023, and I invite Honorable Chinda to move that the bill be read the second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. My name is Kingsley Chinda. I represent Obiabo Federal Constituency. I'm an Ikwere man from Rivers State. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise under Order 12, Rule 41, to move that the bill for an act to amend the Niger Delta Development Commission Establishment Act 2000 and related matters, HB 264, be read a second time. I so move.
Any seconder to this motion? Honorable Ginger.
North Isialangwa South Federal Constituency of Abia State. Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, I rise to second that this bill be read a second time. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Chinda, you are invited to lead your debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, for yielding the floor to me. Kingsley Chinda. Mr. Speaker, the purpose and purport of this amendment is very simple. My dear colleagues, you recall that the current corporate affairs law, that's the CAC law, provides that corporate social responsibility should be taken seriously by every corporate body. In fact, special provision was made in that law for a particular percentage to be set aside for this purpose. We're only trying to be proactive by commencing amendment of several laws that are in place to be in tandem with the current position in Nigeria, which is also an internationally accepted practice. My dear colleagues, the simple amendment we are proposing to the Niger Delta Development Commission Act is that there should be a corporate services department to take charge of this aspect, and therefore the directors should increase from 2 to 3 to take care of that. That's the simple amendment. I will pray that we support this amendment and allow it fly so that subsequently other corporate organizations will begin to borrow a leaf from this, which is an internationally accepted practice. I so urge you to support the second reading of this very simple amendment and then put Nigeria on the same footing with other nations that are progressing in corporate social responsibility practices. Thank you.
Honorable members, the question is that the bill be now read a second time. Those in favor of the motion should say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill. Clerk, please.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to amend the Niger Delta Development Commission Establishment (ETC) Act 2000 and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill be referred to Committee of the Whole. Honorable colleagues, the second order of the day is a motion on reconsideration of outstanding bills from the preceding assembly, standing in the name of Honorable Julius Ihombre. Honorable Ihombre is invited to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, Professor Julius Ihombre, Onwa Federal Constituency, Edo State. I rise to move for reconsideration of outstanding bills for the preceding assembly listed hereunder. Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons Bill 2023, HB 207, Federal Fire and Rescue Service Bill 2023, HB 211, Abuja Environmental Protection Board Establishment Bill 2023, HB 212, Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission Repeal and Enactment Bill, HB 213, Administration of Criminal Justice Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2023, HB 214, Federal Medical Center of Delta State Act Amendment Bill 2023, HB 222, Nigeria Minerals and Mining Bill 2023, HB 230, Federal College of Health Technology, Benin Sheikh, Borno State Establishment Bill 2023, HB 234. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Thank you, Leader. Any seconder to this? Honorable Oga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I'm Honorable Comrade Chinedu Oga ON. I represent Yuko Ezasa Federal Constituency. I'm from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, I stand to second the motion able moved by the Leader of the House. I hereby second.
Thank you. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The bill is referred to the bills are referred to the Committee of the Whole. Distinguished colleagues, The third order of the day is a motion on need to commend Mr. President on his election as the chairman of authority of the heads of state and government of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, standing in the name of Honorable Julius Ihombre. Honorable Ihombre was not around when it was mentioned yesterday. I hereby invite Honorable Ihombre to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, I'm Professor Julius Ihombre, OON, DSSRS. Mr. Speaker, this motion has been overtaken by events. I hereby request that we stand it down. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So, by the leave of the House, he moved that it be that this be stood down. So, by the leave of the House, motion hereby stood down. Leader, motion is hereby withdrawn by the leave of the House. Honorable colleagues, the fourth order of the day is a motion on the need to stabilize Nigeria's foreign exchange rate. Standing in the name of Honorable Benny La, Honorable La is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Benny La. I represent Lantan North and South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, may I move a motion on the need to stabilize Nigeria's foreign exchange rates? Mr. Speaker, the motion reads, the House notes that on the 14th of June 2023, the Central Bank of Nigeria announced the unification of all segments of the foreign exchange market. However, on 17 July 2023, as at the time of drafting this motion, the US dollar was trading at 815 naira to $1. The House also knows that in July 1980, the exchange rate was $1 to 80 kobo. In July 2022, the rate was $1 to 670 naira. While in July 2023, the exchange rate is now $1 to 815 naira. Shortly after the new administration had promised us that during the campaigns that it will stabilize Nigeria's exchange rate at the rate of 200 naira to $1. The House further knows that in the 1980s, most of the foods and products consumed were grown or produced in Nigeria. Today, the Nigerian economy is mainly dependent on importation, and there lies the source of the terrible exchange rates we are now experiencing. The House observes that the importation of vehicles and other commodities have dropped since the floating of the naira by the single exchange rate. It also observed that the impact of the unified exchange rate has made Nigerian students abroad to suffer tuition fees increment by over 60%, making the money in their bank accounts insufficient to pay school fees due to devaluation of the naira. It's concerned that the naira has been on a rapid decline against the US dollar, euro, and pound sterling, thus leading to a hike in prices of goods and services, thereby worsening the inflationary situation and the cost of doing business in Nigeria. It's conscious that the high prices of goods and services are taking a huge toll on average Nigerians, making life unbearable. It's cognizant that if this is not reversed, $1 could be exchanged for 1,000 naira by December 2023. The current economic situation may trigger an inflationary spiral that may throw Nigeria into economic recession and depression. The House resolves to urge the federal government to take necessary steps to stabilize the naira and to mandate the Committee on Banking and Currency, when constituted, to ensure compliance and report to the House in 3 weeks. I so move.
Any seconder to this? Omogo. Please put on your mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and my honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable High Chief Kenneth Moore Chukwugozie Nwachukwu. I represent the good people of Olo, Osun, and Oru East Federal Constituency from Imo State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you so much.
This is a very important motion. Honorable La, can you lead your debate? 1 minute,
Mr.
2
Speaker.
minutes.
Mr. Speaker, we all know that the foreign exchange rate depends largely on market forces. What is triggering the increase or the decline of the Naira is due to the fact that Nigeria relies heavily on importation. We do not produce our own homegrown indigenous products and services that we can market to the outside world and earn foreign exchange from it. Rather, we are a country that is dependent largely on consumption. There's inflation all over the world, but that of Nigeria is higher than normal. And this is so partly because of the floating rates, which is actually a good policy. I have nothing against the unified exchange system. But government must put in place deliberate policies to stimulate economic growth in the country. We have to stimulate our own domestic production. We used to have Arewa textiles. Mr. Speaker, most of us sitting here should be wearing made in Nigeria clothes. Jagaban, you should be dressed in your made in Nigeria agbada. I like your hat, but the agbada is not from Nigeria. If we wear made in Nigeria, even I must speak to myself too. If we wear made in Nigerian clothes, shoes, bags, carry our own products, Mr. Speaker, that will automatically increase our exchange earnings because it will improve on the product, we can market it, and the domestic consumption is high. Another thing is that of vehicles. Mr. Speaker, we produce Innoson, but how many of us drive Innoson vehicles? All government, parastatals, ministries and departments should order made in Nigeria goods and products and services where it's available because they will invest the money in research and development, just like Tata in India, improve on the product and export it. And the same thing, Mr. Speaker, for most of the consumption, we prefer foreign goods to Nigeria-made goods. This economy will not stabilize until we start patronizing our own homegrown goods.
Can you round up? Thank you very much. Thank you.
I must also give the example of Zynox computers. Zynox computers are made in Nigeria, but all our offices, you will not find them there. Why do we not have a culture of patronizing our own homemade goods? I think we should also have we should pay special attention to that on a separate day.
Thank you.
Because that is what will grow the economy.
Thank you, Honorable La. So what you are saying is that the policy of government to unify all segments of the foreign exchange market is a good policy. That is what your motion is saying. You are saying that the policy of government to unify all the foreign exchange markets is a good policy in the right direction. And it will be good for us to hear what members have. Let's ventilate this debate a little bit because that is what Nigerians expect us to do, even though we don't have much of time. Let me yield the house to Honorable Shetima. Let you the floor to Honorable Shetima, please.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Come on, allow me to talk first.
You are recognized, Honorable Shetima. Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Lawan Shetima Ali, representing Bursari Gaidami Nusari Federal Constituency. While acknowledging the efforts of my able sister by bringing up this motion, I must hasten to add that this administration, under barely 100 days, I think all the economy indices is showing that they are making an effort towards the right direction. But the fact, the issue of saying our president during electioneering campaign promised to bring down dollar to 200, I've never heard of that. This should be corrected, because he will do his effort to see that dollar has come down, but not specifically mentioning below 200 naira. And furthermore, the efforts, but the first day...
Please don't put on your mic until you are recognized, please.
The very first day when the president took over the mantle of leadership in this country, he took the bull by the horn by removing subsidy. This subsidy he did with a good intention, of which he needs our support. By looking at the efforts of this administration barely under 100 days, I believe we need to commend his effort, other than taking up in a way of challenge, I can say, though you have the good intention of drawing the attention of the administration. But to me, we should support him wholeheartedly to give them the benefit of the doubt, to say that he has done something tangible for the country within the shortest possible time.
Thank you.
This is my contribution.
Thank you, Honorable Jaha.
I so submit.
Thank you, Honorable Shetima. Honorable Jaha. We'll take two from here, we'll take two from this other side. Please, you go straight to your point when you are given the opportunity. We have a lot of items, but Nigerians want to hear what we feel about this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Permit me to join the previous speaker for commending our senior colleague, Honorable Benilar, for presenting such a very nice motion that considers the sufferings of Nigerians, particularly with regards to the issue of exchange rate. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Ame Jaha Babao is my name. I represent Chibok, Dambua, and Goza Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, on record, including the remaining 88 not yet recovered Chibok girls. Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Jaha, go straight to the point. Straight to the point.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we should be fair to this current government. We were all aware when we were doing campaign, all the political parties that are forerunners.
Mr. Speaker, point of order.
Point of order. What's your point of order?
Kingsley Chinda, Obiabo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 9, Rule 2, and under 9, Rule 3, Sub-Rule 3.
Go ahead, read it.
Mr. Speaker, Order 9, Rule 2 allows me to raise this point of order. And then Order 9, Rule 3, Sub-Rule 3 says, the Speaker shall allocate 1/2 of such time, that is time for debate, to be given to debate in favor of, and 1/2 to debate in opposition to such proposition. Mr. Speaker, we have just taken the motion. Our practice is that those in support of this motion should speak. Thereafter, those that are against the motion will be given their time to speak before it is put to vote, sir.
We are not voting at the moment. We have taken two people who are for the motion.
Both of them spoke against.
Who are against the motion.
Exactly. So the procedure.
We will now have the ones who are for the motion coming to you. Let him round up. Honorable Jaha, go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, we shouldn't be putting the cart before the horse. This government inherited Nigeria in the last less than 60 days. It's too early to start judging the performance of this government with regards to the issue of exchange rate. We are all aware of the reasons why there is escalation in the price of dollar to a naira. We are equally living witness that this government inherited a lot of insecurity that discourages foreign direct investment to the country. No matter what policies you put in place, in as much as there is no security for people to come and invest and encourage export, there is no way exchange rate can come down. And this government inherited in less than 60 days. Only the service chiefs were appointed. Even the cabinet is not set. So we should give this government the benefit of the doubt for some times before assessing the performance of the government. Secondly,
round up.
Secondly, Mr. Speaker, we are all aware of various motions that was moved on the floor of this house to improve revenue generation, to improve security situation, and to improve the way and manner to reduce cost of governance in the country. They are all in the hands of the ad hoc committees where necessary, and some of them were waiting for the constitution of the standing committees. So at the end of the period, the outcome of such deliberation may in one way or the other provide policies for the current administration to succeed in not only improving the economy of the nation, but reducing drastically the exchange rate as we wish as Nigerians. We are all aware that the person spearheading the affairs of this government is a goal-getter, is an achiever.
Okay, thank you.
Let me conclude, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
With your protection.
Thank you.
He's a goal-getter, he's an achiever. We have seen what he has done in Lagos,
I think that was why,
and he can make Nigeria
that was why
to be
Nigeria.
better. Yes.
Thank you, Jaha. I think that was why the Nigerian people voted for him. So the next election is in 4 years or thereabout. So let's keep it to the topic. I'm sure Nigerians know the quality of a man they voted into that position. I will increase those who are for this motion into 3 and those against 3. So I'm going to take from Leke, Honorable Leke. Please go straight to the point, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Leke Abejide is my name. I represent the good people of Yagba East, Yagba West, Mopa Federal Constituency. I'm from Kogi State. I just want to ask this as an addendum to the motion that this issue of exchange rates.
Addendum, are you adding as amendment or are you contributing to the debate?
I'm against the motion.
You are?
Against that motion.
Okay, so it's not an addendum. You are making your contribution. Go ahead.
That the issue of exchange rate cannot be done by fiat. It has to be done by the market forces. You cannot say today naira should be 200 or 100 naira. It has to be done by the production and the export. Most countries focus on what we call mercantilism. That is encouraging your exports as against imports. These are the areas that the new government is focusing on, which I believe it needs time to achieve. And again, this unification of the exchange rate take away the round tripping of the forest. People buy forest and sell it in order to go for production. So I believe government is in the right direction. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was straight and direct, and I like that, Honorable Leke. Let's have from this aisle those who are for that motion. We've heard from those who are against the motion, and the minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. Kingsley Chinda, Obiabo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I would want to first remind us of our responsibilities and duties. That is to make laws for the peace, good governance, prosperity of this country, including economic prosperity. Mr. Speaker, let us look at the prayer of this motion. And that is the thing that will inform us on what position we should take. The prayer is to urge the federal government to take necessary steps to stabilize the Naira. My dear colleagues, let me ask one simple question. Are you telling us not to urge the federal government to take steps to stabilize the Naira? If you stand to oppose this motion, that is the implication of what you're saying. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, our role is to guide the federal government.
Excuse me, Minority Leader. Can you read the last paragraph before the prayer?
Cognizance that if this is not reversed.
What is being reversed?
Let me read the entire paragraph, sir.
What is being reversed? What is
cognizance that if this is not reversed, $1 could exchange
which is the
for
policy?
1,000 naira.
So
of course, government policies.
So we should reverse that foreign exchange policy.
Mr. Speaker, that is not the prayer. Our resolution will be the prayer of the motion.
Yeah, but can you tell us what that paragraph says?
The paragraph says that government should reverse whatever policies that is making the naira to go up. But what I have said is we should look at the prayers of the motion. So if we are supporting a motion, we are supporting the prayers, not the content. We can criticize the content. I can even say that Honorable Benila perhaps did not give full facts in the body of the motion. But the prayer is sound. The prayer is in tandem with what we have been voted to do. The prayer is a support to the government, not against the government. And therefore, I will urge us, my dear colleagues, that we should meticulously look at these issues and not be partisan about it. I think that what we are discussing this morning is to encourage the government of Ahmed Bola Tinubu to perform well. It will not be my pleasure. My own thought and thinking and prayer is that he should not perform well for us to take over the villa. But in the interest of Nigeria, I will support this prayer for optimal performance of government, because it is why we are here. So I will urge us, please, that we should not, I don't want to take too much argument, but I will pray that we support this motion and urge the government to take necessary steps, better our policies. Even if the policies are good, there is still room to better these policies, and that we should all work together as stakeholders in this government to ensure that we provide a better environment for Nigerians.
Thank you.
Therefore, please let us overwhelmingly support this motion. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Dachon Bagos.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Right Honorable colleagues. I'm Dachon Bagos, representing Jos South, Jos East Federal Constituency, rising to support this motion ably moved by our ranking leader, Honorable Benila. Mr. Speaker, right honorable colleagues, the reality of the moment is what we need to look at on this motion. Is not about being partisan, because when you check the presidential election or the swearing in of every president in any country, check the stock market, immediately any president, his statement, you'll be able to change how the stock market move. So the president looking at what this motion is all about now
is the key issue. It's not about partisan or because the president has promised. Everybody can promise anything during campaign, but what is the reality?
Please, Honorable, that just be better guided. None of them mention their party.
No, but
in the course of speaking,
no,
so let's remove the word partisan.
What Mr. Jaha, what Honorable Jaha have said earlier, and again, if we have to be so sincere to ourselves, even when this policy is in place, how have we been able to look at our laws that would discourage importation? What have we been able to do with the local contents that we have? We have not looked at the law that has promoted local content. When we look at local content and we have reduced importation, even the issue of what we need to import and the rising rate of the dollars will not even bother Nigerians because we look at local content in every single thing we use in this country. So, Mr. Speaker, right honorable colleagues, it is very paramount for us as members to go back, encourage government to even look at the laws that have been passed by this assembly in terms of local content. Then it will be able to stabilize most of these issues.
Thank you, Honorable Banjo. I think there is a little difficulty between the title of the motion, the body of the motion, and the prayer of the motion. I think there is a disjointed flow because the title of the motion is different from the body of the motion, and the prayer is actually different from the body of the motion and the title. Because if you look at this prayer, if you look at this motion, you will see that what is being criticized here is the unification of all segments of the foreign exchange market. And they are blaming cost of crude on that. They are blaming other issues on that. All the issues mentioned on the body of this motion is blaming that unification policy of government. And then the prayer says, urge the federal government to take steps to stabilize Naira. That is the difficulty we are having here. I'm going to hear one more from this side, and then a right of reply here and here. We'll round it up because it's a topical issue in Nigeria at the moment. So let me recognize Honorable. You'll be raising your hand at the back. Please, let's see. Not you. No, yeah. Yes, not you. Yeah, go ahead. You are for the motion, so let's hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Mohammed Jamil Gassana, representing the good people of Paskari, Kankara, Sabwa, Kassana State. My own contribution, the system or the leadership of the government have to look into first the security system, because without the security, I don't think the economy will so go good. Also, if the government will go into our refineries.
Are you supporting the motion?
I'm supporting the motion.
Yeah, so go straight to the point if you are supporting the motion.
One house, please.
I'm supporting the motion. I'm on this. Would the government have to look into the oil sector to repair all our refineries? When they'll be able to do all those kind of activities, the country can go more further. Even the dollar can come down. As a businessman, if you are going to be importing all the needful things that we use in this country by import,
this is off point.
Thank you. You can sit down.
It's off point.
Thank you, honorable colleague.
Why is it?
We are going to give Honorable Kuye. You know, we have been doing subject title prayer, but the Nigerian people want to hear us debate issues. So this is one of those ones that we want to look into. So, Honorable Kuye.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for yielding the floor to me. My name remains Ademori Aliu Kuye. I speak for the good people of Shomolu Federal Constituency, and I'm from Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to oppose this motion. Reluctantly so, because the mover of the motion is my sister, but my senior too.
But having gone through this motion, I find it difficult to sit down here and support the disjointed nature of the motion. In moving the motion, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleague mentioned...
Mr. Speaker, point of order.
Mr. Speaker. Further. I have the protection of Mr. Speaker. I have the floor.
You are protected. Kuye, please go ahead.
Thank
Point
you,
of
Mr.
order,
Speaker.
sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, sir.
What is your point of order, please?
Mr. Speaker, thank you. My point of order is changed on Order 9, Rule 3, Sub-Rule 3, sir. Mr. Speaker, we are not in a town hall. We have our rules, and we ought to comply strictly with our rules. Mr. Speaker, our rules explain how debate should be taken on the floor of the House. Order 9, Rule 3, Sub-Rule 3 states that clearly you allow debate in support, and thereafter you allow debate against, except we are debating on a bill. So, Mr. Speaker, I hold you, your interpretation is final, but I know that you will interpret it rightly. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Minority Leader. In all cases not provided for herein by the sectional or other orders, precedent, or practices of the House shall by resolution regulate its procedure. By the chair has decided to give four people from the two aisle opportunity to ventilate, and you must allow that. So you are protected. Kuye, go ahead.
Speaker.
Go ahead so that we can round up, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Your point of order was overruled, actually. Let me also make it clear. Minority Leader, your point of order overruled. Yeah, go ahead, Kuye. You are protected, Kuye.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know Mr. Speaker is up to the task. Mr. Speaker, the mover of the motion while addressing the House, mentioned the fact that Nigeria has the highest inflation rate in Africa. That information given from this parliament does not represent what is happening in the whole world and in Africa. Nigeria indeed has one of the lowest inflation rates in Africa. That's number one. That's why I am opposing that motion. Number two is the fact that the mover, like Mr. Speaker rightly mentioned, is asking us to go against what we initially supported. And that is the issue of marginalization and the floating of the naira, which all Nigerians supported. All Nigerians supported that policy. And that policy gave rise to us saving a lot of money. We were able to save a lot of money.
You are distracting me.
Go and sit down. We recall that immediately that pronouncement was made, the stock exchange improved drastically. Improved. And I thought that the mover of the motion was going to mention and commend the government for that. I'm sure that with time, all these things will be corrected and Nigeria will be a better place.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
What I
Speaker.
pick from your statement is that with time, through the market forces and all the policies of government intervention, these things will all be corrected. I will give the final position to Ali Jesse from the other side, and then we will propose the question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. One house, please. I remain Honorable Ali Issa Jesse, representing Balanga Billiri Federal Constituency. I am from Gombe State. Mr. Speaker, I believe the mover of the motion have a good intention, and her prayers are clearly stated. Let me go straight to the prayers. Prayer 1, she urged the federal government to take necessary steps to stabilize the naira Are we against the government to take that step in stabilizing the Naira? We are not against it, so I don't believe there is even reason for us to go against the motion. The second one, she mandated our own committee, when constituted, to ensure the federal government stabilize the Naira. I believe while we are looking at the major issues, we should always consider that the ruling, our prayers, that is the decisions of the House. I don't think whether you are from any other party, you are against the federal government to work hard in stabilizing the Naira. To me, I feel it's important, all members of this House, to support her motion in ensuring that we give the government all the necessary support in stabilizing the currency. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you. I think we are...
Point of order, Mr.
We have
Speaker.
given enough ventilation on this issue.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
It is time to put the question on this so that we can
Point of order,
move
Mr.
on.
Speaker. Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
When you say government to stabilize the Naira, when in the presence of market forces, and when you say Committee on Banking and Currency to ensure compliance, as the prayer goes, it means banking and currency revisit that foreign exchange policy. That is what it means. Banking and currency revisit that issue once constituted. I'm going to put a question. I know the majority leader want to say something, but
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
We can't take that. Those in support of this motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. I will ask that question again. Those in support of the prayers of this motion say aye. Aye. And those against say nay. The nays have it. Honorable colleagues, the fifth order of the day is a motion on the news to compel international oil companies operating in Niger Delta region to comply with the Niger Delta Development Commission, standing in the name of Honorable Donald Kikikambo Ojogo. Honorable Ojogo is invited to move the motion.
Minority Whip.
Honorable Ojogo is invited to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker,
Minority Whip. Minority Whip. Off your
Please off your microphone.
Order. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Ojogo, you are protected.
One
Go
house,
ahead.
please. I am Donald Kikikambo Ojogo. I represent the good people of Ilaje Eseodo Federal Constituency. I am an Ijoma from Ondo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the motion on the need to compel the international oil companies operating in the Niger Delta region to comply with the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC Act. Mr. Speaker, the House knows that the establishment of the NDDC was in response to the heightened agitations and violent yearnings for special intervention in the following oil-producing states: Abia, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Edo, Imo, Ondo, and Rivers as enshrined in Section 2, Subsection 1 of the subject matter.
You have to listen. After this motion, we are announcing members of ad hoc committee. You have to be quiet, please, so that I can hear your names. Go ahead, please, and make it brief.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Please, members should sit down. Sit down, please.
Members, sit down.
Order, House.
Ruru,
get to your seat. Ruru, get to your seat. Don't go there. Go to your seat. Go to your seat first.
Mr. Speaker, sir, know that Section 14, Subsection 1 of the NDDC Act states as stated in the other paper. I don't want to waste the time of this honorable house. It is clearly stated, but most importantly and profoundly, Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, let me read the succeeding paragraph.
Leader of the House, kindly approach the chair, please. Kindly.
Further notes that while the federal government has adhered strictly to Section 14, Subsection 1A, the international oil companies have continually subjected Section 14, Subsection 1B to total neglect and distasteful disrespect, thereby putting the NDDC in a state of fiscal incapacity, culminating in serious indebtedness to contractors, more so that the NDDC is being owed over $4 billion by the IOCs. Aware that the indebtedness of the IOCs to the NDDC are culminated
Honorable
in the
Bagos, sit down. Honorable Jaha, sit down. The whip,
House,
please do
please.
your house. Do
Get to your
your
seats.
job.
Bagos, please get to your seat.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Aware that the indebtedness of the IOCs to the
Honorable
NDDC...
member, backing the gavel. You don't back the gavel, please. You don't back the mace.
Aware that the indebtedness of the IOCs to the NDDC are culminated in the drive by the AFCC to commence the debt recovery process. Worried that the AFCC in its recovery process has continuously held on to such recovered monies without remitting same to the NDDC for the Commission to meet its obligations. Therefore results to constitute an ad hoc committee to investigate the flagrant disobedience of the aforementioned section of the NDDC Act 2000 as amended by the international oil companies operating in the Niger Delta region. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member, Honorable Donald Ojogo, for that motion. I want the Honorable colleague behind wearing white cap and white dress to please second this motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Adama Hashim Ranga, representing the good people of Ningiwariji from Bauchi State. I rise this afternoon to second the motion moved by my honorable colleague, Isoscon.
Amendment.
Honorable Ginger, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. My name is Ginger Omusibe. Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, my amendment should be for it to read that NDDC committee, when constituted, should investigate the flagrant disobedience of the aforementioned section of NDDC Act 2000. This is because very soon standing committees will be constituted. I don't think we need this ad hoc committee at this time. Thank you.
There's an amendment. Any seconder to that amendment? Honorable, that is wearing white.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, my name is Barisa Rabi Yusuf,
representing the good people of Take and Sumaila Federal Constituency. I hereby rise this morning to second the motion or the amendment just proposed by my learned or by honorable colleague. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Amendment.
Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Amendment.
Amendment. Yes, amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable members, Kwamoti Bitrus Lao representing Numanjam Salamode Federal Constituency. My proposed amendment is to add time frame because there is no time frame. So to include resolved to direct the committee to report 4 weeks, in 4 weeks' time. Thank you.
Any seconder to this amendment? Yes, Honorable Agocha.
Mr. Speaker, I think we've just passed that the ad hoc has been removed to having the motion set to, it's been amended, having the motion to go to the Standing Committee on NDDC when constituted. So having passed that amendment, sir, I would think that his desire to have a time frame has been overcome.
So you are not seconding the motion that
No,
is...
sir. Just
Okay. So is there any seconder?
I came under point of order, Mr. Speaker.
So off your mic. Any seconder to that motion that was moved? No seconder. So, any other amendment?
Yes, amendment, Mr. Speaker. Amendment.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Mark Obeta, representing the good people of Nsuka, Igbezi South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Enugu State. Looking at the last paragraph, Mr. Speaker, he mentioned worried that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is in its recovery process has continually held on to all such recovered monies without remitting same to the NDDC. I suggest that this should also be passed to the Committee on Anti-Corruption when constituted. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Thank you. Any seconder to this amendment? Yes, Honorable colleague.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Dixon Taki. I represent the good people of Makodi, Guma Federal Constituency. I'm from Benue State. I rise this morning to second the amendment as heavily moved by my colleague. Thank you.
I put the question. Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of the motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The motion is referred to Committee on NDDC once constituted. Most distinguished colleagues, the sixth order of the day is a motion on need to speed up rehabilitation of Bogon Iwo Road, Oyo Road of Osun State, standing in the name of Honorable Mudashiru Lukman. Honorable Mudashiru Lukman is invited to move the motion. Please, it's an infrastructure motion. I want you to give us the subject title and then go to the prayers, please, because we have a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Mudashiru Lukman, representing the good people of Iwo Ayediri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Osun State. I stand this morning to move a motion on the need to speed up rehabilitation of Bogan, Iwo, Oyo Road of Osun State. Mr. Speaker, the House notes that the deplorable state of the Bogan, Iwo, Oyo Federal Road in Osun State, a 32-kilometer and which play paramount role in the economic development of Osun State and its environment, linking Oyo as a neighboring state in the southwestern part of Nigeria passing through Iwo. Mr. Speaker, not to waste much of the time, let me go to the paragraph 4 of the motion. The House further recall that the former Minister of Work, Power and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, while on the project inspection in March 2018, also disclosed that although President Muhammadu Buhari administration has paid out of 2 billion 800 million naira out of 6 million 900 million naira initial contract cost to COPEC.
Please, kindly go to your prayers. Kindly go to your prayers.
COPEC company. His administration was painstakingly working on an upward contract review to accommodate any change in material
Kindly
price.
go to your prayers.
Mr. Speaker, sir, let's go to the prayer. The House resolved urge the executive arm of the government to reevaluate the cost of the 32-kilometer major road and include in it the 2024 budget estimate and ensure release in the 2023 appropriation to enable its rehabilitation. Second prayer, Mr. Speaker, sir, also urge the Federal Ministry of Work, Power and Housing to take a holistic look at the circumstances surrounding the road project to ascertain the factors that have caused the delay in the completion of the road with a view to initiating satisfactory and accurate workable measure for a speed completion of the road project. The prayer number 3, Mr. Speaker, sir, the House will mandate the Committee on Work and Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, when constituted to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. This is an infrastructure-related motion, so I just put the question. Those in support of the motion should say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Point of order. No seconder.
No seconder. Sorry, who is seconding the motion, please? Let me have you. The one with the red cap.
Okay.
Behind. Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Pastor Ojema Ojotu, representing the good people of Apagatu Federal Constituency of Benue State, the food basket of the nation. I rise to humbly second the motion ably moved by my colleagues. Mr. Speaker, I so second. Thank you very much.
Thank you for seconding. Let me ask the question. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to Committee on Works and FEMA once constituted. Honorable colleagues, the seventh order of the day is a motion on the need to address the menace of gully erection in Oron and Ekeya community in Okubo local government area of Akwa Ibom State. Standing in the name of Honorable Martin Esin. Honorable Esin is invited to move the motion. Kindly go to the subjects, then to the prayers, because it's a disaster-related motion.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Martins Esin is my name, member representing the hardworking people of Oron, Mbu, Okobo, Udunko, Urefon Orugu Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Akwa Ibom State, the land of promise. I rise this afternoon to move a motion on the need to address the menace of gully erosion in Oron and Ekeya community in Okobo local government area of Akwa Ibom State. I go to the prayers, Mr. Speaker. The House resolves to urge the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to provide relief materials and provide a temporary camp for the affected communities as a temporary succor to alleviate their sufferings pending a permanent solution to the erosion menace. The House resolves to also urge the Ecological Fund Office to visit the site to take statistics of the extent of ravage and liaise with the Ministry of Environment for urgent intervention. The House resolves to mandate the Committee on Environment, when constituted, to liaise with the Federal Ministry of Environment to ensure the provision of funds to address the erosion menace in the 2024 budget estimate. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move.
Thank you very much. Any seconder to this motion? I will invite Honorable with the bowler cap behind the black bowler cap.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Engineer Rodney Ebikebnambaewe.
Those who are stepping out, wait to see where your name falls in on the ad hoc committee list.
Representing the good people of Southern Niger Federal Constituency, I rise this afternoon to second the motion being raised aptly by my colleague. I so second.
Thank you. Let me ask the question because it's a disaster-related motion, so I put the question. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The eighth order of the day is a motion on collapse of River Benue. Call for government intervention standing in the name of Ojotu Ojema. Honorable Ojema is invited to move the motion. Honorable Ojema, please.
Thank you very much, the People's Speaker, distinguished, respected colleagues. My name is Pastor Honorable Ojema Ojotu, representing the very accommodating people of Wapaga, two federal constituencies, Benue State, the food basket of the nation. I have the singular honor and privilege to rise this afternoon to present or move a motion that borders on the collapse of River Benue and call for government intervention. The House notes the state or community in Apagatu Federal Constituency as a swim in ocean of flooding annually, especially residents of Ingminyi community in Agatu local government area who live around the Benue River. Also note that year in, year out, Benue Rivers, which is supposed to attract tourists, are consistently revenue to federal government and the people of Benue State. It has now brought nothing but agony to the people that live around the riverine area. Because of our time, I want to very quickly go to the prayer, as it has become the tradition of this honorable house. Mr. Speaker, I wish to urge the House to urge the federal government, Federal Ministry of Environment, Ecological Fund Office, and the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to address the menace of erosion and flooding in Apa Agatu Federal Constituency. Also urge the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to open a substation within the federal constituency to provide quick succor to flood and erosion victims pending the resolution of the ecological problems. Mandate the Committee on Environment, Ecology, and Special Duty, when constituted, to engage the Federal Ministry of Environment, Ecological Fund Office, to come up with a lasting work plan to arrest the erosion and flooding problem experienced by the people of Apagatu Federal Constituency. Distinguished Honorable Speaker, I hereby move. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any seconder to this infrastructure motion? Gombe, former speaker. Oh, is that Jafari there? That is not Jafari. Yeah, the gentleman behind.
Thank you
not you,
very
Jafari,
much.
not you.
Not me?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Barrister Abubakar Ahmad Muhammad, member representing the Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion moved by Honorable colleague I so second.
Honorable colleagues, this is an infrastructure-related motion, so I put the question. Those in support of the motion should say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The motion is referred to the Committee on Environment, Ecology and Special Duties once constituted. Honorable colleagues, the ninth order of the day is a motion on the court to investigate the closure of some microfinance banks across the nation. Standing in the name of Honorable James Shaibu Baka. Honorable Baka is invited to move the motion. Honorable Baka, if you are here.
I'm here, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, all members, my name is Right Honorable Ambassador James Shaibu Baka, the Magatagadan Adamawa. I represent the people of Gombe Home Federal Constituency from Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, my motion is to call to investigate the closure of some microfinance banks across the nation. One of these banks is number 16 on the list of the 47 microfinance banks that was closed, which affects me directly. Note that on May 22nd, Mr. Speaker, the governor of Central Bank, that was 1 week to taking off the government by President Bola Tinubu, revoked the operational license of 47 microfinance banks across the country, including Bema Microfinance Bank, which is from my local government. Also note that the reason cited in the communication include that banks were either inactive, insolvent, failed to render returns, etc., which through my investigation and which the board confirmed that it was not true. The banks were operating according to the rules prescribed by the Central Bank. Concerned that the closure of Bema Bank, which is from my place, and these other several microfinance banks, which is the only community bank in my local government, for example, caused undue hardship to the people who depend on banking and financial services offered by the bank. My local government was one of those local governments that was ravaged by Boko Haram. So this is the only bank that is presently functional in that place. And so, Mr. Speaker, I would like to go straight to the prayers. The prayer is that we urge the Central Bank of Nigeria to restore back the operational assets of the affected financial institutions until investigations on their status are concluded. Because right now, the people's money are trapped in these banks. The banks are under lock and key, and they are not operational. This bank should be opened immediately. Mandate the Committee on Banking and Currency, when constituted, to investigate the recent revocation of the operational assets of this microfinance bank across the country and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Thank you very much. Any seconder to this motion? The man with the black card.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, our speaking speaker. My dear colleagues, I am Honorable Chief Mitema Obodo. I speak for all the characters in Ogbea Federal Constituency. I am from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Amendment, sir.
Amendment Jaha.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's actually a nice motion because my constituency is equally affected. But I don't want to throw the baby with the bathwater. The first prayer should be deleted in order not to invalidate the report of the investigation committee. So urge the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to restore back the operational licenses of the affected financial institutions until investigation on their status are concluded. This is judgmental and it should be removed. I so move, sir. Thank you.
Any seconder to this amendment? Let's have the man with the red cap there. Yeah?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. My name once again is Honorable Peter.
Minority Leader, Majority Leader, kindly approach the chair.
Honorable Peter Anekwe is my name, representing the good and hard-working people of Anambra East and West. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Anambra State. I stand to second the motion ever moved by my colleagues. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this amendment say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of the motion as amended say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Banking and Currency once constituted. Honorable colleagues, the 10th order of the day is a motion on the need to activate basic healthcare provisions for primary healthcare services, PHC, in Das, Bogoro, Tafawa, Belewa Federal Constituency of Bauchi State, standing in the name of Honorable Jafaro Gambo Leko. Honorable Leko is invited to move his motion. Honorable Leko, if you are in the house.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, respected colleagues. I am Honorable Jafaru Gamboleko. I speak for and on behalf of the good people of Das Tafa Baleo Bogoro. I rise this afternoon to move a motion on a need to activate the basic healthcare provision for primary healthcare services in the Staffan Baleo Bogoro and in other parts of the country. Right Honorable Speaker, as directed, I will go to the first paragraph, then down to the prayers. The House notes that the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund is a program of federal government which commenced healthcare service delivery since 2021 nationwide, with an agenda to better the primary healthcare need of the rural communities. Also note that the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund is yet to be fully operational in the Staffan Baleo Bogoro and in other parts of the country. Resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of Health to activate the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund in the Staffan Baleo Bogoro and in other parts of the country. 2, also urge the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency to, as a matter of urgent importance, rise to the occasion and awake their moribund presence in the Staffan Baleo Bogoro Federal Constituency and in other parts of the country, and thirdly, mandate the Committee on Health Care Services when constituted to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any seconder to this motion? Done a lot there. Let us, honorable colleague in front there.
Honorable Speaker, my name is Anderson Alison Idix. I am an Okrika man, a joy extraction of River State, region marginalized by Nigeria. I represent the good people of Okrika, Ogubolo Federal Constituency. I stand to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Jafarov. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
This is a straightforward infrastructure motion. Amendment?
Mr. Speaker, amendment, please.
Amendment?
Yes, Mr.
Yes.
Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Honorable Isa Muhammad Anka, representing Anka Tilata Mapura constituency, Gampara State. I have two amendments here. The first is on the heading, sir. When you say need to basic health care provisions for primary health care services, the provision herein are many, and they are under basic health care services. The first level, which is the basic health care facility, is not an integral part of the primary health care services. So what we should do, or what I think is better, is that instead of saying provisions, we are after the fund.
Please speak to your mic.
Only the fund. So the heading should read, need to activate the basic health care basic health care funds for primary health care services, not the provisions. Secondly, under the resolutions or prayer, the second prayer should be deleted completely because the first prayer has taken part of the second prayer. The only thing that we need to add is the National Primary Health Care Development Agency, including the Ministry of Health. In other words, the first prayer should read, urge the Federal Ministry of Health and the National Primary Health Care Development Agency to activate the basic health care funds in that region or in that area. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any seconder to this amendment, list of amendments? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, my name is Dr. Midala Usman Balami. I represent the good and dynamic people of Askira Uba, Howell Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Borno State. I rise to second the amendment that is made by my colleague. I so second.
Thank you very much. We'll just go ahead and ask the question. Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The motion as amended, those in support of it say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Health Care Services once constituted. Honorable colleague, the 11th order of the day is a motion on the need to reconstruct the Amukpe Eku Abo Federal Road, Delta State, standing in the name of Honorable Etana Benedict. Honorable Etana Ben is invited to move the motion. Kindly go to your prayers after a brief synopsis. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful. My colleagues, my names are Ben Etana Bene. I represent Ogbe, Saple, Uwe Federal Constituency, in Delta State. Mr. Speaker, the title of my motion, as read, is Amukpe Eku Agbo Federal Road. It's a motion that has to do with infrastructure, and therefore I do not intend, to bother my colleagues reading all the statements. Infrastructure is a problem we all know in Nigeria. But Mr. Speaker, let me just mention that this particular road, a section of it has not been used for 5 years. That is the Umutu and Abavo, angle. Therefore, vehicles that would have probably spent just 5 minutes across that stretch now have to go through Umutu, Demili to Agbo, somewhere, another 1.5 hours. And for articulated vehicles and trailers that are bringing foodstuffs, to us in Warri, they will have to go through Benin and spend another 5 hours, on the road before they get to Warri. Even our farms, have collapsed, as a result of that. Therefore, with the humble request and approval of my colleagues, my prayers will be to direct the Ministry of Works to immediately take steps to repair, if not all, but at least that portion, that is so bad, to allow vehicles to go through.
You are not moving according to the notice. You are moving from your head. Once a motion is on notice, you move according to the paper. So you just mention what you have put in there, okay. Because the table, they are recording what they're saying.
We resolve and urge the Federal Ministry of Works to commence work on the dilapidated Amukpe Eku Agbo Federal Road. Also urge the Federal Ministry of Finance to release funds to Sokuk to give to the contractors to cover the said road, and mandate the Committee on Works, to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, to your kind permission, I so move.
Thank you, Honorable. Any seconder to this motion? The Kwangwasia.
Hello, Mr. Speaker. My name remains Mukhtar Umar Zakari from Tarauni Federal Constituency. I humbly second the motion heavily moved by my honorable colleague. I so second.
Thank you very much. It's an infrastructure motion. So I put the question. Those in support of this motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Works once constituted. Honorable colleagues, the 12th order of the day is a motion on a call to establish a naval base in Olobiri Court Beach to curb incessant sea piracy and kidnapping attacks, standing in the name of Honorable Obodo Mitema. Honorable Obodo is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, revered Mr. Speaker.
Wankwasia, off your mic.
My distinguished colleagues, I am Honorable Chief Mitema Obodo. I speak for all the characters in Ogbea Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Bayelsa State. The Speaker, I rise this afternoon to move a motion calling on government to establish a naval base in Olobiri Court Beach to curb incessant sea piracy and kidnapping attacks. Mr. Speaker, in the spirit and mood of the House,
okay, what is your point of order?
Is Order 6, Rule 2, on personal explanation, Mr. Speaker.
Personal explanation. Honorable Oga.
Privilege, Mr. Speaker, sorry. Order of the privilege, Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Comrade Chinedu Oga Owen, representing Ikwe Zasa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, it's very unfair that my colleagues will use a character addressing addressing the people of a constituency. So that is the personal explanation that I have to infringing my privilege by using character to address.
Are you part of his constituency?
Mr. Speaker, I'm a Nigerian. And as a Nigerian, every Nigerian, yes, I'm speaking for this country. Using a character to address. Yes, he should use the people of his constituency. Using a character, he does not portray.
The word character is not in a bad
it depends
light.
on the way it's being phrased. But not
All right,
to
thank
use
you,
it to address
Honorable.
the people
Thank
in
you,
the
Honorable.
constituency.
I think he has noted it, and
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
subsequently he will do something about that. You are protected. Go ahead and make it brief. Go to your prayers, please.
Yes, thank you.
Go straight to your prayers. We are wasting time on your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You can see that my senior colleague was the one that took my time. I was going straight.
Go straight to the prayers, please.
Except that, Mr. Speaker, I will pray you to allow me to take paragraphs 3 and 4, please.
Okay, so obliged.
Thank you, sir. Aware that the kidnappers, sea pirates, and armed robbers operate through the waterways with over 50 reported cases and 20 dead, and even the few that make it alive suffer life-threatening illnesses due to the torture and inhuman conditions these assailants make them to suffer. Mr. Speaker, I will jump the next paragraph and take the last. I'm worried, Mr. Speaker, that on the 26th of June 2023, the divisional police station in Ogbea town was attacked, killing policemen on duty, and some sustained degrees of injuries. Their arms and ammunition were carted away by the assailants, whose firepower was superior to that of the policemen. Mr. Speaker, I urge this honorable House to resolve as follows. 1, urge the Nigerian Navy to establish a permanent naval base at Oloibri Court Beach to respond to distress calls whenever the assailants attack. 2, also urge various security agencies, such as the Nigerian Police, Nigerian Army, etc., to ensure synergy to have an effective and efficient communication system around the area. And lastly, mandate the Committee on Navy, when constituted, to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, most respectfully, I so move.
Thank you. Any seconder to this 12th order of the day? Any seconder? Let's go right back. The gentleman there, yeah? Not you, the next one.
Right Honorable Speaker, sir, my distinguished honorable colleagues, I am Honorable Sani Lawal, representing Zongobori Federal Constituency. I stand to second as moved by my honorable colleagues. I so seconded, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. It's an infrastructure motion. I think I just put the question. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Navy once constituted. Most distinguished colleagues, the 13th order of the day is a motion on the need to curtail erosion disaster at the tail end of Ovom Street, People's Road, and Federal Housing Estate in Obo, community of Aba North, local government area of Abia State. Standing in the name of Honorable Emeka Nnamani. Honorable Nnamani is invited to move the motion if he's in the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Emeka Nnamani. I represent the hardworking, highly innovative people of Aba, North and South of Abia State. I rise to move a motion on the need the urgent need to stop the threat occasioned by erosion disaster at the tail end of Ovom Street, People's Road, and Federal Housing Estate, all in our community of Aba North local government of Abia State. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I would like to go just straight to the 4th and the 5th paragraph for lack of time.
So permitted.
also concerned that the houses of some residents of this community have been swallowed by the erosion, forcing them to take refuge on higher and safer grounds. Worried that if the erosion in our community are not urgently addressed, it could degenerate into a national disaster, as surrounding communities are also under threat of being swept away. Mr. Speaker, may I go straight to my prayers? Thank you. Resolves to, 1, urge the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to provide relief materials to the victims of the erosion disaster in our community in Aba North local government area of Abia State. 2, to also urge the Ecological Fund Office to release adequate funds to solve the erosion challenge in Aba North local government area of Abia State. And 3, to mandate the Committee on Emergency and Disaster Preparedness and Ecological Fund to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Any seconder to this motion? Yes, the lady, honorable lady there.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Gwacha Maureen Chinwe. I represent the good people of Oyiaya Melun Federal Constituency. I'm from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved by the honorable member. I so second.
Very straightforward disaster-related motion. So I put the question, those in support of the motion should say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Ecology once constituted. Honorable colleagues, the 14th order of the day is a motion on a call for intervention on the perennial flooding in the Federal Capital Territory. Standing in the name of Honorable Joshua Chinedu Obika, Honorable Joshua Obika is invited to move the motion if he's in the House.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Honorable Joshua Chinedu Obika. I represent Amak Buhari Federal Constituency, FCT. This is a motion for call for intervention on the perennial flooding in Federal Capital Territory. The House notes that the alarming upsurge of flood in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, over the years due to heavy, uncontrollable floods, leaving tales of woes in the minds of the affected families. Also notes that the periodic flooding in Lokogoma, Galadimawa, and particularly Trademore Estate and other adjoining estates on the airport road, which has led to the loss of lives and properties. Aware that the Trademore Estate currently housing over 20,000 people and have been in existence since 2007, when the first set of residents was allocated houses through a mortgage process administered by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Worried that the perennial flooding is on the increase geometrically, bearing in mind the recent havoc at the Trademore Estate as a result of heavy rainfall on the 23rd of June, 2023.
Kindly go to your prayers, please, after that paragraph.
Okay. 2023, when the houses were submerged in the water, while some were pulled down and killing a lecturer at the University of Abuja. Resolved to, Mr. Speaker, urge the FCT Emergency Management Agency to provide relief materials to the victim of Trademore Estate. Mandate the Committee on Federal Capital Territory, when constituted, to ensure compliance. Thank you, sir. So I so move.
Thank you very much. A disaster-related motion. We need a seconder to this motion. Honorable Halims, you have an interest to second this motion.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. Abdullah Ibrahim Halims is my name. I am from Kogi State. I represent the good people of Ankwa, Omala, from Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by Honorable Obika. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Straightforward motion, disaster-related. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The motion is referred to Committee on Federal Capital Territory once constituted. Honorable colleague, the 15th order of the day is a motion on need to investigate the recent oil spillage in Ogele, Etio, Aleto, Akpajo, Abonchia, Okpako, and Alesa communities in Eleme local government area of Rivers State. Standing in the name of Honorable Felix Uche Nweke, Honorable Nweke is invited to move the motion. Kindly go to the subject matter and then the prayers, please.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Honorable Felix Uche Nweke. I represent Eleme, Tai, and Oyibo Federal Constituency. I'm from Rivers State. I rise to move this motion, the need to investigate the recent oil spillage in Ogale, Eteo, Aleto, Akpajo, Abonchia, Okpaku, and Alesa communities in the Eleme local government area of Rivers State. Mr. Speaker, permit me to read the last two paragraphs, sir, before the prayers.
So permitted.
Concerned that the spillage affected residential houses from lands, streams, and surrounding waters in the communities and have left the people stranded as their homes and farms are covered with crude oil. Worried that if nothing is done to stop these recurring spillages as well as clean up the environment immediately, the people will suffer severe hardship owing to the loss of their farmlands, crops, homes, and water sources. Prayer, sir. The House resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of Environment, the Nigerian Oil Spill Detection Response Agency, NOSRA, and the Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria Limited, SPDC, to immediately visit Ogale, Etoo, Aleto, Akpajo, Abonchia, Okpako, and Alesa communities in the Eleme local government area of Rivers State affected communities and commence a cleanup of the crude oil spill therein. Mandate, prayer 2 and last, mandate the Committee on Host Communities, when constituted, to investigate the cause of the recurring oil spillage in Ogale, Aleto, Akpajo, Abonchia, One, Okpako, and Alesa communities in Eleme local government areas of Rivers State, with a view to providing lasting solutions to the problems and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Any seconder? Yes, second.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable dear colleagues. My name is Right Honorable Umar Ajilo, member representing a very good people of Magakukudan Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I'm from Kaduna State. I rise to second the motions ably moved by my honorable colleagues, I so second. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a disaster-related motion. So I put the question. Those in support of the motion should say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to amendment. The gavel has gone down. Yeah. Next time. This motion is referred to Committee on Host Communities once constituted. The 16th order of the day is a motion on the need to relocate Gara, Bajua community from flood-prone areas and the construction of a dam in Galmara, Zaki Federal Constituency of Bauchi State, standing in the name of Honorable Mohammed Dan Abba Shehu. Honorable Shehu is invited to move the motion, if he's here.
Mr. Speaker, sir, distinguished honorable parliamentarians of this honorable house, my name is Honorable Mohammed Dan Abba Shehu, member representing good people of Zaki Federal Constituency from Bauchi State. I stand to move a motion on need to relocate Gara and Bajwa community from flood-prone area and the construction of a dam in Galmara, Zaki Federal Constituency, Bauchi State. The House note that during the rainy season in 2022, about 150 persons were rendered homeless by flood in Gara and Bajwa in Zaki local government, while some members of the community are still taking refuge in temporary IDP camp. Also note that the recurrent problem of flooding in Bauchi State is dated back 50 years and has continued to remain nightmare for members of the community every rainy season, leading to the loss of lives and the destruction of properties. Worry that this devastating rainfall affected the economic activities of the people, destroyed farmland and basic sources of livelihood, and disconnected neighboring communities and families. Also worry that Gara and the Bajwa communities were submerged and other communities within.
Please go to your prayers. Go to your prayers,
Let
please.
me go to the prayer. The House resolves urge the federal government to allocate land to Gara and the Bajwa to a new settlement. Also urge the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to facilitate the construction of a dam in Galmara to checkmate the menace of flood in the community. Further urge National Emergency Management Agency NEMA to, as a matter of urgency, send the relief material to the affected communities to ameliorate the suffering of Gara and Bajwa, Ilalla, Murmur, Ariri, Asake, Sutua, Putti, and the Saradugum. Mandate the Committee on Environment, Emergency and Disaster Preparedness, Ecological Fund, and Water Resources, when constituted, to visit affected areas to ascertain the extent of damage caused by the flooding and include the project in 2024 budget estimate. Lastly, also mandate the Committee on Legislative Compliance to ensure implementation when constituted. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Any seconder to today's motion? Honorable Munachi. Second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Munachimi Ketialos, representing the good people of Obiungwa Ogunabo Federal Constituency. I hereby second the motion as moved by my colleague. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Amendment?
Yes, yes.
Are you from Bauchi State?
I am from Nigeria, sir.
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, I am Right Honorable Ino Garba, member representing Yamatu Deva Federal Constituency from Gombe State. Mr. Speaker, I think it is proper to amend prayer number 1, which says urge the federal government to allocate land to Gara and Bajua to a new settlement. I want to amend this prayer to read, urge the federal government to liaise with Bauchi State government. That will be better and easy to do. To liaise with Bauchi State government to relocate, to allocate land to Gara, Bajua, and to a new settlement.
I think your amendment is based on the principles that you found in the Land Use Act of 1976.
Thank you, sir.
That says that all land belongs to the governor.
Thank you.
I think it's a timely intervention from you in lines with the principles of our laws. The federal government cannot jump into any state and allocate land without the approval of the governor of the state. Any seconder to this beautiful amendment? Let me have the gentleman there wearing white. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
My name is Honorable Muda Ashiru Lukman, representing the good people of Iwo Ayedire Olaoluwa Federal Constituency. I rise this afternoon to second an amendment ably made by my colleague. I so second. Thank you, sir.
Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of the motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Because it's a disaster motion, is referred to committees on environment, emergency, and disaster preparedness, ecological fund, and water resources, including legislative compliance once constituted. Most distinguished colleagues, the 17th order of the day is a motion on a call on the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria to give special quota allocation to Nigerian universities to accommodate admission of interested Nigerian medical Sudanese students, standing in the name of Honorable Aliyu Ilyasu Abubakar. Honorable Abubakar is invited to move the motion if he's in the house.
Right, Honorable Speaker, sir, my respected colleagues, I rise to sponsor a motion in respect of call on the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria to give special quota allocations to Nigerian universities to accommodate admission of interested Nigerian medical Sudanese students. Right, Honorable Speaker, sir, note that the recent crisis in Sudan has caused severe hardship to many Nigerian students studying in Sudanese universities, forcing them to flee, abandon their academic pursuits, and return home to seek refuge. Also note that the federal government, through the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, in conjunction with Joint Admission and Matriculation Board and National Universities Commission, have declared the provisions that have been made to integrate Nigerian students into universities to continue their education. Aware that the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, Mr. Speaker, sir, is empowered to regulate medical practice in Nigeria as well as allocate admission quota to Nigerian medical universities. Also aware that while promises have been made that returning medical students have noticed with utter dismay their inability to gain admission as a result of quota allocation imposed by the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. Concerned that the failure of returning Nigerian students to gain admission into Nigerian universities and continue their academic pursuits could render them idle and prostrated and therefore pose a psycho challenge. Further concerned that the non-admittance of these students constitute an abandonment of a very core responsibility of the government to provide accessible education to its people, and therefore affirms that the federal government must do all it can to ensure a system is put in place such that they are easily absorbed into various medical institutions across the Federation. Right, Honorable Speaker, sir, let me quickly go to my phrase. My phrase to urge the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria to give special quota allocations to Nigerian universities to enable them to accommodate the admission of interested Nigerian students that left their medical studies in Sudan. Also urge the National Universities Commission to fast-track the additional quota allocation to Nigerian universities, mandate the committees on health institutions and legislative compliance to ensure compliance and report within 4 weeks. I so submit, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. We allow you to go from the body to the prayers because it has to do with education and also health. Any seconder to this motion? The honorable member there. Yes? Yeah, go ahead. Not you. You in the middle. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name has not changed. So it remains Ali Adeyemi Taufik.
Please speak into the mic so that we can hear.
Thank you, my brother, Mr. Speaker. My name has not changed. It remains Ali Adeyemi Taufik. I represent Mission 1 Record in Lagos. I'm from Lagos. Mr. Speaker, I rise this day to second this very important motion as moved by my dear brother, Honorable Iliasu, my honorable colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The motion is referred to committees on tertiary institution and health institution, including legislative compliance once constituted. The 18th order of the day is a motion on the need to investigate abuse of peacekeeping operations in Nigeria and mismanagement of its proceeds and funds standing in the name of Honorable Zachary Dauda Yampa. Honorable Yampa is invited to move the motion. Kindly make it brief.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague. I am Dauda Zakaria Nyampa, member representing the good people of Madagali Michika Federal Constituency. I rise to move this motion on the needs to investigate abuse of peacekeeping operations in Nigeria and mismanagement of its proceeds and funds. Note that peacekeeping operations among countries in the world play a vital role in stabilizing fragile nations like Nigeria in view of insurgents, engaging communities, protecting civilians, and promoting peace process to prevent vulnerable regions from becoming terrorist safe haven. Aware that the broader mission of United Nations include but not limited to peace enforcement, peacekeeping, peace building, and post-conflict reconstruction. Worried that if this practice of non-inclusion of proceeds of peacekeeping operation, the budget and medium-term expenditure framework and poor accountability of funds is not stopped, nation building will be meaningless. Resolve, set up an ad hoc committee to carry out an investigation on the abuse and mismanagement of proceeds of peacekeeping operation in Nigeria from 2010 to 2022 and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Any seconder? Can I have the lady from Port Harcourt, the honorable member from Port Harcourt, the lady?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am Blessing Chigero Amade, an Ikwere woman representing the good people of Port Harcourt. I hereby second the motion. That's moved.
Thank you very much. Those in support of the motion, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The motion is referred to ad hoc committee once constituted. I think we should list this for tomorrow. Which one is this? Honorable Halims. Honorable Halims, approach the chair. Honorable Zachary, please approach the chair. Before the next order of the day, I have some announcement to make. Please listen carefully. These are some of the ad hoc committees that we promised we are going to announce in the course of our session today before going into consideration of report, which is the next order of the day. Non-remittance committee, ad hoc committee on non-remittance to the NHF and utilization of funds from 2011 till date. Honorable Mustafa Aliyu Abdullahi, member. Honorable Suleiman Yahaya, member. Honorable Mohammed Danjuma Hassan, member. Honorable Matthew Nwogu, member. Honorable Atu Chimobi, member. Honorable Zachary Yampa, member. Honorable Nazifi Zani, member. Honorable Dongo Yaro, member. Honorable Kerechi Nwogu, member. Honorable Victor Obuzo, member. Honorable Martin Esin, member. Honorable Shehu Issa Rijo, member. The chairman of this committee is Honorable Dachon Bagos. Other committee on recurring annual clashes between farmers and herders in Yamautu Daba local government of Gombe State has the following membership: Honorable Akuba Base, member. Honorable Donald Ojogo, member. Honorable Ju Makaonju Ola, member. Honorable Basi, member. Honorable Bashir Yusuf, member. Honorable Eze Nwachukwu Eze, member. Honorable Muhammad Jamilu, member. Honorable Yaya Bauchi Tongo, member. Honorable Lanre Oladeji, member. Honorable Mudashiru Lukman, member. Honorable Bello Yabo, member. Honorable Salishu Muhammad, member. And the chairman is Honorable Aliyu Baba Miswa. Legality of SS crude accounts and the ad hoc committee on legality of SS crude accounts to investigate the status and management of all the principal sum deposited, tenor and interest rate of petroleum project tax, royalties, SS crude account 2015 to date. Membership of this committee is as follows: Honorable Remi Oseni, member. Honorable Falata Abubakar, member. Honorable Nalaraba, member. Honorable Awaji Abiante, member. Honorable Billy Osawuru, member. Honorable Fred Abedi, member. Honorable Eze Nwachukwu, member. Honorable Chijoko Okereke, member. Honorable Felix Mweke, member. Honorable Abdullahi Aliyu Ahmed, member. Honorable Martin Esin, member. Honorable Lumidi Osoba, member. Honorable Dixon Takia, member. Honorable Adamu Sani, member. Honorable Dati Yusuf Omar, member. Honorable Kafilat Obara, member. Honorable Kabiru Tukura, member. Honorable Muna Chiso, member. The chairman of this committee is Honorable Victor Nwokolo. Ad hoc committee on JAMB has the following membership: Professor Paul Namji, Dr. Patrick Umar, Professor Lillian Orubu, Honorable Blessing Amade, Honorable Awusi Bejinja, Honorable Abubakar Abdul Buba, Honorable Tochukwu Okereke, Honorable Anka Esa, Honorable Munachi Onwuzurike, Honorable Midala Balami, Honorable Benedict Etabene, Honorable Lalo Ishaya, Honorable Ari. The chairman of this committee is Honorable Mrs. Regina Akume. The next committee, ad hoc committee, is the ad hoc committee on the management of proceeds and funds from peacekeeping. It has the following members: Jafari Mohammed, member; Mokhtar Shagaya, member; Ehiatek Ibori Suenu, member; Audio KJ, member; Salman Idris, member; Honorable Obia Gocha, member; Honorable Sunday Ojo Makinjola, member; Honorable Ibix Anderson, member; Honorable Yusuf Rabiu, member; Honorable Emeka Namani, member; Honorable David Omar, member; Honorable Omar Shehu Ajilo, member; Honorable Husseini Ahmed, member; Honorable Ari Muhammad, member; Honorable Sani Egidi, member; Honorable Yampa Zakari, member. And the chairman of this committee is Honorable Shehu Saleh Raju. Ad hoc committee to investigate the failure of Nigeria mass transit scheme to find sustainable solution. Has the following membership: Honorable Oshoba, member; Honorable Muhammad Salisu, member; Honorable Manso Manusoro, member; Honorable Murphy Omori, Honorable Paul Namji, Honorable Abdul Malik Danga, Honorable Patrick Umar, Honorable Jesse Okejo Onokalose, Honorable Muhammad Inu Abasi, Honorable Kobis Aritinu, Honorable Oluwande George, Honorable Oluwa Seyi Ayopo, Honorable Oyedeji Oyeshina, Honorable Abdul Kadir Jobe, Honorable Ibrahim Mohammed, Honorable Peter Aniekwe, Honorable Joshua Obika, Honorable Afam Victor Ogene, who will chair the committee. The next committee is the committee to investigate the CBN for alleged management of funds and non-disclosure. The following are the members of this committee: Honorable Dennis Idahosa, member; Honorable Gwacham Morin Chingwe, member; Honorable Muhammad Bello, Honorable Kabiru Amadu Mai Palace, Honorable Kabiru Amadu, Honorable Stanley Adedeji, Honorable Boniface Emerengwa, Honorable Aliyu Bakpa, Honorable James Baka, Honorable Dennis Abo, Honorable Muhammad Bello El Rufai, Honorable Mark Eshed, Honorable Ginger Onwusibe, Honorable Ogewe David Agada, Honorable Clement Akani, Honorable Bamidele Saddam, Honorable Kelechi Nwogu, Honorable Professor Lillian Orobu, Honorable Nole Naji will be the chair of this committee. The last for today is the ad hoc committee on the medical and dental council and the Ukraine issue. We have Honorable Dekeri Anamebro as member, Honorable Esosa Yahweh as member, Honorable Yusuf Badwa as member, Honorable Gwasam Maureen Chinwe as member, Honorable Abdurraham Ajia member, Honorable Chijoke Okere member, Dr. Enul Enyang is going to be the chairman. Dr. Enyang is the chairman of this committee. Clerk. It's important that if you have any confusion that you approach the clerk to give you the details of the committee, or you wait tomorrow for vote and proceedings for you to be able to see where your name falls under. The 19th order we have one more announcement. This announcement is from the Minority Leader of the House, Right Honorable Chinda Kingsley. This is to inform the members of the minority parties that there will be a meeting today by 8 p.m. and the venue is Fraser Suite Hotel, and attendance is encouraged. As he wrote here, he said attendance is encouraged. So you are hereby encouraged. Most distinguished colleagues, the 19th order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to amend the Electricity Act 2023 to address the concerns of the host communities and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Thursday, 19 July 2023. The House Leader is invited to move for its consideration.
Mr. Speaker, Professor Julius Ihanvele, O1 Federal Constituency of the State, I rise to move that the bill for an act to amend the Electricity Act 2023 to address the concern of host communities and related matters be presented to the Committee of the Whole, and also let me take the liberty to move that the bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act and establish Federal Medical Center in Lekki, Lagos, and for related matters, HB 160, be also committed to the Committee of the Whole. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Majority Leader of the House. Any seconder? Minority Leader, please, second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Dr. Alisa JC. I rise to second the motion moved by our House Leader. Thank you.
Any seconder to that motion? Has it been seconded? Those in support of that motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The 20th order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act and establish the Federal Medical Center Ibeji Lekki, Lagos State, and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Tuesday, 24th of July, 2023. The House Leader is invited to move for its consideration. House Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, Julius Ihambere, DSSRS, on one federal constituency of those states. I rise to move that the bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act and establish Federal Medical Center in Lekki, Lagos State, and for related matters, HB 160, be committed to the Committee of the Whole. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Any seconder? Minority Leader, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion that the House do resolve into Committee of the Whole to consider the bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Center Act. I so second.
Thank you. I put the question. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. House Leader moved that the House do resolve in the Committee of the Whole to consider the bills.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House do resolve to Committee of the Whole to address the two bills earlier mentioned. And
any seconder from the Minority Leader?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as very well moved. I so second.
Thank you. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The House hereby resolve into the Committee of the Whole. Honorable colleagues, the first bill to be considered is for an act to amend the Electricity Act 2023 to address the concerns of the host communities and for related matters. I invite the leader to give the synopsis of the bill. Leader, you are invited to give the synopsis of the bill. Leader, you are invited to give the synopsis of the bill. People should stop distracting the leader. The leader, the first bill is to be considered is for an act to amend the Electricity Act 2023 to address the concerns of the host communities and for related matters. I invite the leader to give the synopsis of the bill.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. As you know, in recent times we've been trying to initiate policies that will make host communities feel that they belong to this country, whether it is in the oil sector or in the power sector, or be it in any sector actually. Over time, persons and people and communities and constituencies in the host communities have been shortchanged. This amendment is designed to ensure that funds that are generated, particularly from areas where power facilities are located, enjoy the benefits of these funds. So essentially, the Hyperdeck Fund has historically not been captured properly in the bill. And I think the essence here is to amend it by deleting the existing section 95(2)(c) and renumbering it E, F, and G to reflect a smooth flow of the process of generation and allocation for the GENCOs. The GENCOs have always complained, actually, that they were working.
Mr. Chairman, we don't hear him. Oh. Please, leader, more volume.
The GENCOs have
Please increase the volume of the microphone of members. Those who are in the control room, please. We need to hear him. Amplify, Prof.
Essentially, that funds generated by the generating companies, a percentage of it should go to the host communities where they are located. That is what this amendment is all about. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Leader, for that synopsis. I think we have clause 1 to 5. So we go this way. Clause 1. Clause 1. Clause 2. Yes, please. Clause 2.
Mr. Chairman, respected colleagues, my name is Ahmed Idris. I represent Wasifere constituency of Plateau State. Mr. Chairman, I have problem with clause 2, and maybe because I do not have the compendium, I have seeked for it, so that I will get explanation as to the name of the company we are increasing to 19, because there must have been scheduled for the 18 companies. Now we are deleting 18 to substitute it with 19. It means then we are going to have 19 companies. But what is the name of the 19th company? Because let it not given to us.
Are you proposing, what amendment are you proposing?
No, it's supposed to be clear. No, we are making. We are supposed to be very explicitly know exactly what we are passing. What is the where is the increase coming from? And what's the name of the company? Thank you.
Honorable Kuya, are you here? Can you throw more light on this? Because he raised a fundamental issue now. We are seeing...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, please.
The substantive act that is being amended, as in section 6A, physical unbundling of the authority into 18 companies. That 18 is what is being changed to, because it has now discovered that there are 19 companies that are involved. So we are just changing the 18 here to 19, just that of that section 6A. Yes, just the figure. Just the figure, sir. That's the position, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, so the number of the companies, is it the Genco companies? Especially the new members, this is how we debate the final aspect of the bill. You know, after this stage now, it becomes, we are done with it. So pay much attention to see the work that goes in before this is finalized. So the Genco companies were erroneously stated as 18, but it has been identified as 19. Do we have the list of those companies to confirm if they are Gencos, or will you provide it to the House? So in the act at the moment is 18, but we want to make it 19. Huh? That was an error. It's a typo error. Leader, you have anything to say to that?
Mr. Speaker, I think we would request Honorable Kuye to provide the entire list of all the companies to 19. Originally, there was an error in the listing. So in trying to adjust it to show that there are 19, is the figure. They are not deleting the name of any company, but deleting 18 and then listing it properly to make it 19 companies. But that list can be provided tomorrow. As you want.
So the list, Honorable Kuye, you will give it to us tomorrow or today? Tomorrow. Right Honorable Wase, please, you have the floor.
Sir. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. We are making law, and so there's no assumption or presumption. And the right thing is for him to provide for us, and I want to beg that he steps down, or we step down the constitution, so that when we have it tomorrow, we'll now do the constitution. That should be the right way, and everybody will now go home satisfied as to what we are doing. Two, I also want him to consider the third clause, so that we do not come tomorrow and then jump again or step down and waste time. The same thing with 92. He's asking us to amend the principal act of 92.
Referring to the title?
3, yes, no, not the title. Section 3.
Clause 3.
Clause 3, yes, sir. I'm saying if you read through, you will find out there are some.
Let's agree that this one be. Excuse me. Let's agree that it be stepped down. Then other comments on it, we can now take it so that he will take it as an advice to go back. Honorable Kuye, or it's supposed to be the majority leader. Majority leader, can you move that this bill be stepped down till tomorrow, so that we can have all the documents that we need?
Mr. Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. I think the main problem is that the information provided in this amendment is not comprehensive enough. So I'd like to move that we step it down, provide the necessary information, and present it tomorrow, particularly in clause 2. That's the one. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
There is any seconder to this?
Leader.
We don't need seconder on this. He has withdrawn his motion willingly and also by the leave of the House. So I wish to state that this particular bill is hereby stepped down for further consideration tomorrow, subject to the provision of the document that we are asking for. But before we hand over this to the Secretariat, there were some observations that Right Honorable Wasa was making to aid the proposals of this bill not to go back and forth, especially when we know that we might be shutting down tomorrow for a while, so that they can come better prepared tomorrow. Let's get his input, and after that, the minority leader has something to say on this. Right Honorable Wasa, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, once again, my name is Ahmed Idris. I represent Wasifere constituency of Plateau State. Mr. Chairman, I'm raising observation regarding to second column, where I say amendment is section 95. It says section 92, sub 2 of the Principal Act is amended by deleting the existing subsection 95, 2C and D, which are found here, and numbering the substituting paragraph E, F, and G. You see, you cannot find E, F, and G, and we need those sections. What does E, F, and G stipulate? They have to be brought up again into the listener, and then the right wordings have to be stated. That is the procedure, and I think that's why I'm saying that they should go look into it. The secretary should help them do that.
Honorable Bukuya, do you understand that you have to list E, F, and G, so that it will not be like a vision that is seen only by you, that we can read it and know why we are substituting. Is that carried? Yeah, the substituted paragraph, that you should list them. Well, I think we are in order with that.
Mr. Speaker, another observation.
Yes, please. Let's get more observation on this before we rule on.
Mr. Speaker.
Before you, the minority leader was raising his hand.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. From the explanation given to us by the House leader, the spirit of this amendment is to protect the interest of host communities. And again, under that sub 3, we are deleting sections 95, 2C, and D. And I read, without prejudice to any existing right or rights that may be accruing to host communities under this Act or any enactment, 5% of all revenue accruing from power generated by the various power generating companies from the member states shall be set aside for development of the respective host communities. So if we delete this and delete D, that also provide 5% for administration by Hyperdeck to develop host communities, doesn't it conflict with the spirit of the amendment? I want him to throw more light, because I'm still not at home. Perhaps because we don't have the entire bill with us.
Yeah, no, it's not about stepping down. It's about guiding who is presenting it tomorrow, so that these things will be captured before presenting it tomorrow. If not, so if it comes here again, it will be stepped down again. And we want to move forward. There's a reason why we want to cure this, so that this particular Electricity Act will become operational as it's supposed to be before gazetting it. What do you have to say about that? 5%, I think that it should go to hyperdeck is what this bill is trying to amend, that instead of going to hyperdeck, it should come back to the host communities. So
Mr.
can you
Chair,
clear us on that?
Yes, if we have a copy of this debate that has been circulated to members, I'm sure minority leader has not gotten it. Because if you have it, it's been distributed. It spells out what has been done with section 95(2) C and D. So it's now been created and it's been distributed. I'm sure that we'll have it distributed again tomorrow. Okay. They gave out this in the morning. Okay, this. Okay, so we'll make sure that.
All right. I think the backbone of this bill, to my understanding, is that the host communities they have GENCOs that are there operating, and some of them have not been carrying out their CSR. And if you allow them to carry out their CSRs, sometimes it's epileptic. Sometimes it is below 5%. Sometimes it goes to 1%, 2%, and not the rest of them. So we want to put a standard that this 5% should go to the host communities. That host communities will have a committee that will be able to do needs analysis on where they want their 5% to be invested. It will no longer be at the discretion of the GENCOs without benefiting the host communities. And it's a beautiful piece of amendment. I must tell you that. It's a beautiful, so that your own community is involved as a host community. My community is involved as a host community. And we must decide where our 5% generated from the operation should go to. And I know all of us will support this bill when it comes tomorrow. But I'm sure the corrections have been taken, and this particular bill has been stepped down by the leave of the House.
Further correction, Mr. Chairman. Further correction, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, you can meet the proposal of the bill, Kuye, and push your correction to him, because this has been stepped down already. Okay?
Okay.
The second bill to be considered is for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act and establish the Federal Medical Center Ibeju-Lekki, Lagos State, and for related matters. Again, I invite the leader to move the synopsis, to give the synopsis of the bill.
Mr. Speaker.
Can you share this bill, please? The Secretariat, please share this bill.
This is a fairly direct bill. It is simply designed to include the Federal Medical Center Ibeju-Lekki, Lagos State in the list of federal medical centers in the country. There is no other thing about it, Mr. Speaker. We have a list of federal medical centers established, and Ibeju-Lekki has been approved, and this is just to ensure it is included in the list of federal medical centers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think this is just the usual thing that we do. We did it for Medical Center War, Medical Center Umahia, Medical Center Wase, Medical Center Yenegoa. You amend this particular act to be able to include. So there is nothing special about this particular bill, and except that we want to add this particular Ibeju bill. So I will just read the clauses. Clause 1, carried. Clause 2, carried. Clause 3, carried. Explanatory memorandum, carried. The long title, carried. Honorable colleague, The chairman invites the leader of the House to move that we revert to plenary.
Mr. Speaker, Chairman, having concluded the consideration of the two bills proposed, I move that we revert to plenary. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder, please.
This is not complete. Mr. Chairman, I rise to second the motion. I so second.
Those in support say aye. And those against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, the House hereby reverts to plenary to report progress. The House in Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to amend the Electricity Act 2023 to address the concerns of the host communities and the related matters. This particular bill has been deferred for consideration till tomorrow, Thursday, 27th July 2023, for further legislative action. The House also in Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Center Act and establish Federal Medical Center Ibejuleti, Lagos State, and for related matters. This particular bill, the Committee of the Whole approved clauses 1 to 3, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. I invite the House leader to move that the House do adopt the report of the recommendation on the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House do adopt a report to plenary on the proceedings of the Committee of the Whole. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as ably moved by the House leader. I so second.
Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I want to thank you for staying up to this time for us to go through the whole process of a plenary, and I'm happy that the new members have witnessed firsthand, those who were not here the last time we did consideration of reports, what happens during consideration of report. I appreciate all of you, and also the former Deputy Speaker who also played his role in making sure that the right thing is done, and those who proposed their bill agreeing to ensure that by tomorrow we make good laws that we can always defend. I appreciate the principal officers who have also been dedicated and who has waited from beginning till now. I hereby invite the House Leader to move that the House do adjourn. House Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, having exhausted all items listed on the order paper for Wednesday, the 26th of July 2023, 27? Then I've been used to this 27, 26. What's the I said we have exhausted the one for the 26th. I'm right. I rise to move that we adjourn, that the House do adjourn to Thursday, July 27th, 2023. I so move.
Thank you. Before I call for
11 a.m.
Before I call for the seconder, I want to announce that the ad hoc committee on the Green Wall has a new member that is added to it, which is Honorable Adebayo Balogun, because of his work in that field for previous in previous assembly. He'll be there to give some technical support. Honorable Adebayo Balogun. Seconder to this, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion that the House do adjourn to tomorrow. I so second.
Time is 11 o'clock. The House is hereby adjourned to tomorrow, Thursday, the 27th of July, 2023. Time is... We have not asked the question. Those in support of this motion as moved and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. Those who are in support that will leave and come back tomorrow 11 o'clock say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.